Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. I'm joined now by UNCP men's basketball head coach Ben Miller. Coach, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Cam.
Coach, we haven't talked to you since the very start of the season, and your team comes in at 5-1 right now. Give us a quick recap on how the season has gone so far compared to, say, your expectations.
Well, I've been pleased with the new guys. I think that are in the rotation have adjusted. They're still making some mistakes on execution, but I think their effort's been pretty good. I think our veterans have showed really strong leadership, starting with Alex Bradley. And, the way he's playing right now really sets the tone for our defense, for our transition offense, and then execution. So I'm really pleased with what he's done, along with the other captains, Brandon and Nigel. And then, of course, we get Q coming back here, too, so another veteran joining the group.
The season started with a trio of exhibition games, including 2 against Division I competition. How did those preseason games help your team?
Well, the Carolina game obviously was a big challenge. They're really good, but I was disappointed in some aspects of that game, and I really challenged the leaders, Alex and Brandon, Nigel, those guys, because it all starts with them, along with Mike Smith, another senior in that group. But they really responded. We had a tough road trip the next day, traveling down to Houston, and those guys all bounced back, and I thought really showed a lot of toughness to come back and play a lot more competitively down there. Houston's got a good team. Coach Sampson, I think, has got a very competitive team. They'll be good in their league. But, those games, playing against that competition really helps you discover where you're at. Because if you miss blockouts, they're going to go tip dunk it on you. If you don't run back on defense, they're going to get layups and dunks and transitions. So you get a real quick evaluation, a true evaluation of where you're at with execution and fundamentals.
The Braves are on a 4-game winning streak with 2 more non-conference games before Peach Belt play begins. 2 of the wins are against Winston-Salem State. Which game stood out to you from your team and why?
Well, we've played good competition, starting with the Peach Belt SAC Challenge, and we went 1-1 there. Played 2 very good teams, I think, and then, of course, 2 games against Winston and Chowan from the CIAA. I think were all really challenging games for us. One of them was a tough road match up at Winston. Our guys responded to that environment very well. And then Chowan and Winston here at home too, I think 2 really talented teams. So it's hard to pick one, but I do like the steady progress of our team and the direction we're heading.
Your team was picked to finish 6th out of 14 in the PBC. How much have you been looking at what other conference teams have done in the first month, and how do you think you'll stack up?
Well, I always keep check on our league plus other leagues in the region with the SAC and the Conference Carolinas, along with the CIAA is not in our region, but we play a lot of those teams. So those are really the 4 leagues in this area that I kind of check up on and keep tabs on. And I think we've got a lot of good league teams in the Peach Belt. There's always a lot of parity. There's always a lot of new players, transfers that sometimes you don't see until maybe a week or so before you play them. But I think, as always, it's going to be a very competitive, very balanced league with a lot of depth. Obviously there's some teams at the top right now that, like Augusta, that was picked high, Young Harris, but I think a lot of other teams that'll be contenders.
One of the things that stood out about your team is not just the 5-1 record, but the fact that the average margin of victory is in double figures. Statistically, your team has been dominating its competition, but give us 1 or 2 areas where you think your guys have the most room for improvement.
Well, right now I would say our defensive field goal percentage. There's 3 statistics that we talk about on a consistent basis with our team: defensive field goal percentage, rebound margin, and assist turnover ratio. And I think one of those areas we're doing pretty well. Rebound margin has been pretty good. Defensive field goal percentage has got to get better, and assist turnovers has got to get better. But I think I'm not too surprised about the assist turnover, but I am a little disappointed that teams have shot as good a percentage, even though we've been winning games. I think our ability to guard the ball and finish possessions with blockouts has got to continue to improve, but that's going to be the case throughout the season, and the teams that keep getting better at those areas, I think, are the ones that'll be battling down the stretch for, in the mix for championships and postseason play.
It's time for our final break. We'll be back after these messages on the Black and Gold Report. Welcome back to the UNCP Sports Black and Gold Report. I'm here now with UNCP men's basketball coach Ben Miller. Coach, through the first 6 games, your team has 4 players averaging at least 13 points per game: Brandon Watts, Alex Bradley, James Murray Boyles, and Nigel Grant. How important has that balance been to the team's success?
I think it's great. I felt going into the season we had a lot of weapons. You know, beyond those 4, we got a couple other guys that have, you know, Andrew, Akia, Mike Smith have had double-digit games for us. You know, so I think having that kind of balance makes it hard for a team to really just focus in on one guy or 2 guys. So hopefully we can continue that. I think we got a group that likes playing together and shares the ball, and I think that's a lot of fun to play that way.
All 4 of those leading scorers were with UNCP last year. Who on your team, newcomer or returner, has been the biggest surprise for you so far?
I think Akia and Micah as freshmen have really developed quickly with their effort. Execution, they're still in the wrong place sometimes, but you know, their effort's been very consistent and their approach to practice has been very mature for freshmen. I think Nigel, even though he was practiced with us last year, I think everybody expected him to make a big contribution. But Andrew Evans has been tremendous for us. You know, coming in also as a new player, has stepped in right away, and obviously he can shoot the ball, but he does a lot of other things to help the team with his defense, his rebounding, and the energy he brings.
One of the big storylines for the Black and Gold moving forward will be the return of Kwamaine Rose. Tell us a little bit about that process and how you see him fitting in with the existing team.
Well, I hope everybody, fans, you know, teammates, and even Kwamaine himself, we call him Q, will be patient, you know, because he's been out of playing for over a year now. He's been cleared by the doctors. He's been working out on his own. And really, you know, we're just getting him back with us. So I think obviously he's been a great player for the Braves. He's got a lot of heart, a lot of athleticism, a lot of ability. You know, I think the team will welcome him back with open arms, but I think everybody's got to be realistic that it's not going to just happen overnight. 2 non-conference road games coming up in the next week: at Barton today at 4 and at Mount Olive on Wednesday night. What do you expect to see out of those next couple of games, and what are some of the keys to victory? Well, they're traditionally 2 of the better programs in the region. You know, Barton's a former national championship team, and Mount Olive's a region champ in the recent years. I think both of those teams have some new players in their rotation like we do, so you don't always know what to expect there, but the coaches at both programs do a great job, and we try to schedule those type of programs just to try to get us ready for Peach Belt play. As long as we're focused on getting better every day with our execution defensively, rebounding, running the floor, and then sharing the ball. If we do those things consistently, we have a chance to be pretty good.
All right, Coach. That's all the time we have for this week's show. We'll be off for the next few weeks for a winter break and be back with the UNCP Sports Black and Gold Report in January. To stay up to date on everything going on around UNCP athletics, visit uncpbraves.com. Until next time, I'm Cameron Songer. Go Braves.